Maryland Governor Wes Moore just announced a massive housing package that he believes will fix the housing shortage in Maryland. So will it work, or is it just another empty promise? Well, that's what I'm going to cover in this video. I'm going to go over what's involved in this housing package, the 3 bills that are a part of it, and what you should know going into this year. So let's just jump right in. Hey everyone, my name is Eddie Brady with Showcase Real Estate here in Maryland. And if this is your first time visiting the channel, thank you for being here. I make videos like this every single week about the market updates, the best places to move to, the development updates, and everything you need to know before moving to Maryland. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. All right, so let's just start with what the problem is, which is the estimated 96,000 unit housing shortage in Maryland. And governors all across the country are having this same issue, and they're introducing bills to try to fix these problems. And now Governor Moore is joining that list. And this housing package has not been officially introduced yet, but they do intend on introducing the package in 2024. And it's made up of 3 bills with 3 different strategies. And those 3 different strategies are to build more, attract money, and to protect renters. And the first bill that is designed to increase the building of more units is called the Housing Expansion and Affordability Act. And what it's designed to do is increase building in underserved areas. And the way they're going to do this is to allow developers density bonuses. And what that allows is more units in a smaller area. They're also going to fast track those permits for those development projects so that they can get them done on a quicker timeline. And on top of that, they're going to be offering certain tax breaks to those developers. And in order to qualify for those density bonuses, if these developments are within 1 mile of a rail station, which is the intention of these projects, then they would have to have at least 25% of their units as affordable housing units. And the second bill is designed to attract more money to Maryland to finance these projects. The bill is called the Housing and Community Development Financing Act. And what he's looking to do here is to tap into federal funding by creating the Maryland Community Investment Corporation, which would direct an estimated $50 million in federal funding to invest in community projects in Maryland. And the third bill is designed to protect renters, and this is called the Renters' Rights and Housing Stabilization Act. And this is where it gets pretty controversial because they have a 3-pronged approach here as well, and some of them aren't going to go over too well with landlords in Maryland. And the first part of this bill would establish an Office of Tenant Rights in Maryland. And it's kind of surprising that we don't already have this in Maryland. It's a very tenant-friendly state, but certain cities around Maryland have these offices already. So this would just establish a statewide office, and the whole goal of this office is to let renters know what their rights are in certain situations. Now, the second part of this bill is definitely more controversial, and that's that they want to raise the filing fee for evictions from $15 to around $100. And they say that that will cut down on needless evictions. They think that landlords are going out and filing evictions because it's cheap. And whether or not that's true is definitely up for debate. It's not a fun process to go through, so who knows if landlords are really doing that. And that's not the only fee involved in an eviction. It's just the filing fee. So it can cost hundreds of dollars to actually go through the eviction. If you have to get attorneys involved, maybe thousands. So they expect that this is going to bring in more income for the state to pay for the rest of the program. And as another part of this, they want to make it more difficult to evict during extreme weather conditions and public health emergencies. And the reason they have this focus in this particular bill is that evictions are back up near pre-pandemic levels. And because of that, they're much more focused on where these families are getting displaced. And a lot of the families that are being evicted right now, they say have children with them. So they're trying to limit the number of evictions of families with children. And they think that this part of the bill will help with that. And the third and probably most controversial part of this bill is that they want to apply a first right of refusal to the entire state. And what a first right of refusal is if the landlord decides to sell the property, they have to offer it to the tenant at a reasonable market rate for a certain period of time. Now, they haven't established exactly what that period of time will be, and that's where it can get pretty difficult for the landlord. If they want to sell a property quickly, this may bar them from doing that if they have a 90 or 120 day period where the tenant has to decide on that market rate. And in the meantime, they might have missed out on selling the property for top dollar. The landlord might be in financial hardship themselves and be worse off because of it. So it's a very controversial position. It's already in certain areas of Maryland, like Baltimore, Tacoma Park, various areas. And landlords do not generally like this rule. Now, I see where they're getting at. They want the tenants to not be displaced, out of a home when they could purchase the home for a reasonable market rate. But you have to remember some market conditions are competitive. So maybe you're missing out on driving up that competition and receiving top dollar for your property. And it's just something to consider if you're thinking about investing in Maryland. So the question we need to be asking ourselves here is, will this housing package with these three bills actually improve housing inventory in Maryland? And really what it seems like is only one of the bills will actually do that, which is the Housing Expansion and Affordability Act, which again will fast track permits. It's going to increase density bonuses for developers and provide tax breaks for them. But is it going to do it on the immediate horizon? I don't think so. I think it's still going to take a significant amount of time just for the land development alone to build those projects, to actually complete them and get people moved into them can take a significant amount of time. The other two bills are very much focused on tenants' rights. And not to say that tenants' rights aren't important, it's just the focus of this bill and what they're touting is that it will increase inventory. And I just don't see that in the immediate future. This is definitely more of a long-term play for the housing inventory piece. But on the short term, the landscape for landlords and investors in Maryland will definitely change in a significant way. Not only is it going to be harder to evict, it's going to be more expensive. And Maryland is already a tenant-friendly state, but they intend on increasing those tenants' rights clearly with these bills. So it's just something to think about if you're considering moving to Maryland and investing here, or moving here and eventually renting out your home. You should always be aware of the current climate of landlords and renters in the state. So I'm curious, with those of you watching, do you think this housing package will help with housing inventory? And if you're from another state, what is your local government and state government doing to increase housing shortages if you have that problem? Let me know in the comments below. And if you are considering moving to Maryland and you don't know where to start, please reach out to me. I would be happy to help you get a plan together to start your move. And as always, if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe so you stay up to date on all of my videos about moving to Maryland.